Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and actually, it's live. Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap, and not live trading. We did away with that, and it's because we're going to focus more on understanding how to trade, not just trading. It's part of our education, what we offer here. We have an educational course. We have these live real-time forward-looking analysis. We'll look at what's happening in the order flow and then give insight to where we think it might go based off of what the order flow is telling us. This is so you can apply what you've learned right from the course in Bookmap. So let's jump in here and go through the disclosures and then get into it. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's see what's going on in these stock indexes. We're looking here at the S&P E-mini, and I've got some things in here to deselect and reselect. There we go. Okay, and go over the bigger picture here on order flow. What do we see? What's happening right now? And then we'll step back and look at the higher time frame candlesticks. Bigger picture right now, obviously you can see the bullish activity here, and very strong volume. Just came in above this 41.15 area here, 16, and very strong move here to the upside. Interesting move. Now let's take a look in here closer, because this is the kind of move that we look for, and that it's going to continue to the upside. Why? Because we have such strong volume here moving the market. Now what we want to understand, though, is who's taking the other side of the trade, and that is also very strong here. We see some pretty big iceberg transactions here. So we went from negative here, this is about negative 1,000 down to current, like, negative like 3,000. So we have a couple thousand icebergs up in this area here. We also have high liquidity here on the offer getting filled in this area, and this area, and you can see them up again here at 41.25. All right, so we are still bullish, but we're just noting who's taking the other side of the trade here, not only through the heat map and the liquidity with the limit order book in here, but also iceberg transactions. Larger players using iceberg orders, hiding their position from the order book, and they are also on the other side of the trade here. All right, so and that's just fact. All right, so what have we done so far? Well, we've retraced here already half the distance of this big breakout from 41.18, and here it is, and getting some support off of 41.20. All right, so they're in the order book here, and they never transacted, and we're starting to see buyers come in already. All right, so yeah, I mean, we're still in an uptrend. Next level to look for is 25 up here, 25.5 in the limit order book up here. All right, so nice auction up here. Look at this. We know there's icebergs on the other side here, but it did transact up here. So if we get enough bulls and aggressive buyers in here with the green dots, we'd be looking for the move up into this 41.25. All right, so let me jump in here and make sure that I'm answering any questions anybody has here. Okay. All right, no questions yet. And what about Discord? No questions yet. In Discord, guys, the it looks like it's been renamed Advanced Webinar, but I think we haven't renamed the chat room there. I think it's still all markets. So anyway, that's where we're chatting, is in the all markets section, just for today. All right, we'll rename it and make sure that everything's matches up here. All right. This is a really interesting move. Here we can see we just came up just shy of 41. Actually, the best offer went into 41.25, and then it sold off. Right up here, what I want to go over this, I mean, this is a really interesting level here. Not only is there high liquidity in here, but look at all the icebergs transacting in here. And it's just a, talk about a weak top. This is it. You know, visually, this is your weak top. Now, this is volume profile. This is what it looks like. Here's your volume profile right over here. Look at that, right? Look at all that volume up here, all right? So we look for it to come back up here. However, we want to understand the players in here, because this is odd. It's actually really, it looks great for it to come back up here and retest, but we know that there's icebergs in here. In fact, let's turn the on chart icebergs, stops and icebergs on, and we'll get some deeper insight here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and they're still there, right? So this is where that stops and icebergs. Look at this. So 1,218 contracts have already transacted up here, and they're still here. All right, and we can see no one tangled with them yet, again, up at 41.25. So they basically, this is called absorption, and this is a classic example of it. Buyers here, the aggressors, could not get through this price level. Not one transaction on at 41.25 and a quarter, not one. Okay, totally absorbed here. This, when we talk about absorption, this is it, and it happens to also be with an iceberg. All right, so it's almost like you look that up in the dictionary. This is absorption. That's what it looks like. We can get a lot of information from absorption, understanding that there's someone on the other side taking the trade here, and you can't get through it. We look for sellers on the other side. If they can't get through here, you'll find sellers on the other side here, just like this in here. Now, it's not a lot of selling, but you can see it. Okay, so absorption here. Look at the sellers come in, watch them test these lower levels, just like this here. And then, you know, we know, though, that it auctioned off here. There's still buyers up here. Okay, or there was aggressive buyers up here. Okay, and the structure for the day so far is still bullish. So still looking for a possible test up here. I don't see a lot of sellers in here yet, pulling it away from this area. Right, so I would look for another retest in here if we get buyers. Okay, so let's see we'll see if we do, but we're going to be just open to that scenario and what it looks like. And there'd be buyers like right here, right now, like this. First level, 23.5. Second one, 25. Okay, so that would be the kind of primary scenario right now, what we're looking for in the order flow. Secondary scenario is also unfolding right now. Sellers bringing it right back down. And what if we get now, not really here though, I'm looking for a lot of sellers. Okay, and we're getting them. All right, so this is going to be an interesting battle. All right, so sellers, are you able to drop it down to 17.5? That would be the next level to test. This is our 18 level that we're 17.5, 18 here that we're looking at earlier, where that big buying came in. Okay, so we're going to get that test, it looks like, into that level here. All right, so anyway, starting to understand the nuances in here in the order flow. All right. Okay. So let me see if there's any questions on that. Good morning, everybody. All right. Yeah, I got to take a look back here at the bigger picture. Now, you know, this week we're going to have CPI data tomorrow. You know, it's a huge data point. We have a lot of data this week. Actually, we have retail sales on Wednesday, and we have core PPI and PPI on Thursday. It's a big week of data here, so we're going to probably see a lot of gyrations here in the market. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see what the reaction is to that data, basically. And regardless of what it is, our job in here is to read the order flow. That's what we're doing, and we're looking for what the participants are telling us in the auction, and then where price might go based off of their behavior in here. Very, very simple, actually. It sounds like it's complex, but Bookmap does a beautiful job in displaying this information just by showing best bid and offer, the transactions on that best bid and offer, and the other side of the trade in the heat map here. Okay, so the transactions are, we covered this on Friday, with the difference between understanding price action and order flow. Okay, and then just recap a little bit. If we take the volume dots off here and we bring the heat map down to nothing, this is price action. Okay, it's the movement of price. Okay, now it doesn't have the orders on here though. That's where we get into the order flow. Okay, what is the condition of that? Well, here's the transactions, the dots. Red dots market sell, green dots market buy. And that's it. Now, with the price structure and price action here, all right, well, if we get more sellers in here, right now, yeah, I'd be looking for this move to come back down into 18. We never got to 18, in fact, or 17 and a half, which was kind of curious. So let's see if we get enough sellers now to make that move happen. Here they come. Okay, sellers, we should be able to see a drop and at least retest down to this 19 level. Let's see if we can get that. Looking for sellers. Okay, now again, this is in terms of a trading opportunity. First off, we don't make trade recommendations, and this is not high probability. It really isn't. If I saw selling like this again here, it would be much better. It's choppy here. Okay, there's sellers here, there's buyers here, there's some selling here, there's buyers here. So it's kind of all over the place right now. All right, but we're looking to see where it might go. We're going to go through the different scenarios. All right, so making distinction though between what is more likely or less likely. And right now we don't have too much insight in here. We're looking for, like, someone controlling this market in one direction or the other, and you can see it's pretty choppy in here. See how we have buyers here, we have sellers here, buyers here, some sellers here, buyers here. They just can't seem to lift it though. A lot of sellers here. Okay, now here we go again, buyers here. All right, up to 24. Not bad. All right, let's see, can they continue? All right, no. So see, the sellers come right back in on the other side here. All right, so very choppy, and we're going to wait and watch until we see something better. Anyway, yeah, all right, so bigger picture, I covered the data this week. Let's look at some higher time frame charts and start to understand some of this order flow in here. Okay, or price action, not order flow, because we don't have the order flow in our candlestick charts. Okay, on the daily here, you can see this was we had this kind of swing low down into this area here, and it's kind of bouncing back right now. That's about it. Hourly, well, we can see the open down here, or in here as well, and then the move up. Where might it go? Well, this is actually a good area to maybe see maybe a pause due to the swings in here. Okay, retesting these areas right in here, the swings. It could come up maybe a little bit higher up into here as well, 41.33 or so on this hourly. But I imagine we're going to start to find some sellers in here. All right, I don't really see too much yet on this hourly. A pretty strong move, bullish move to the upside outside of this area. See how it broke out of this area here, okay, on pretty strong well, pretty strong price action. Okay, here's our 15-minute chart here, and here's our open, and here's the break higher. Okay, right up into now we're getting into some of the nuances. This is what I was looking at earlier over here on the hourly, these swings over here. Okay, well, here it is here, right? So that's why I'd be looking for a slowdown here, and then maybe some sellers come in, and maybe we get some back and forth. Maybe it comes back down into 41.10 or so. Or the next level on the buy side, I'd be looking for, due to this price action in here and these transactions in here, would be somewhere around in here. Maybe I think we said 31. Yeah, somewhere around 31. Let's see where that is here. Somewhere around in here, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it up here a little bit better at 41.40, just because we can see this little swing up here, and kind of relates to some of this previous price action in here. All right, so really, yeah, going through just some higher time frame scenarios first. All right, now let's look at the order flow. Okay. Still pretty choppy. Okay, buyers starting to buy a bit off of this little area right here. All right, here comes some buyers too. All right, let's see the move up into this iceberg that's still up there. Looking for it here. You can see a bit of a change in the order book as well. We're still finding buyers. So let's see if they can push it up into the 41.25 area. Yeah, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looking for it, 25, and then maybe even 27 here. Okay, again, like weak top, right? See how this weak top, and see they're still buying up here. Okay, now you have to be very careful in these choppy days, because like, oh, so yeah, I'm going to buy the weak top, and then like all of a sudden sellers come in and like just drop it and drag it back down here. Stop everybody out, and then you'll see them buy down here. Traders buy it down here and move it right back up, and then through and break out through that area. Okay, so yeah, that's a possible scenario in here. Again, like we're looking for and understanding the behavior in here, right? So if there's that possibility, then is it, you know, a higher probability outcome? Well, then you would say no. It's starting to look pretty good. It's looking good, and then the sellers did come in and drag it down here. All right, so now it would look even better though. Let's see if we get something like this. Okay, what if we get buyers up here at 23, like a lot, big green dots? Okay, that's what I'm looking for here in this scenario. And we're not getting that. All right, let's see it. Let's see it, buyers. I'm looking for them. All right, let's see. Do we get a skew in the order book too? Is there more on the bid here? Not really. All right, that can lead to you know, some back and forth volatility in here. When we see the order book kind of stacked on the bid though, and the reaction is buyers, that gives us a much better insight to the possible move higher. Okay, just going through just different order flow scenarios and potential opportunities in here. Okay, just based off the order flow. So right up here, now see these guys here will be trap volume if we get our buyers up here at 23. Okay, do buyers support it down here? Let's take a look. Okay. Boy, I'm seeing more sellers than buyers, that's for sure. Overall, in this little area in here. Okay, see how we can read this in here, these players. This is where we're looking for our buyers right now. And this is higher opportunity or higher probability here. If we can get the buyers in here and we see some maybe on the order book underneath here, now we're looking for the move into 25 and beyond. Okay, this is much better here because we have fuel here. Okay, we have these sellers here being buyers back up in here, so we're looking for a stop run. Okay, let's see it, and we're looking for a stop run right here. We should probably get it here. We've got a lot of fuel here. All we need is to see some price action to the upside here, and then the order flow should dictate some stops. Okay, it could be a nice move here. It could be pretty powerful up into not just 25 but maybe 30. Okay, does that make sense? We went through this whole thing in here. It's like, you know, reading this, and then understanding up. Okay, now these guys selling down here, they're going to get upside down as the buyers come in, and we're looking for these sellers to be buyers and more buyers to come into the market at the same point and try to get back up into 30. Now, what are we doing? We're trading at 25, and look at this iceberg. It's still there, 1500, 1600 basically. It's still there absorbing. Complete absorption here at 41.25 so far. Okay, so that's the condition, and that's what's happening right now. $16.50. All right, there's our move. Okay, so that iceberg filled, it fully filled. You know, it looks like there's 3 of them in here, but regardless, almost 2100 orders altogether. Okay, there's our stop run, guys. That's what we're looking for. Big stop run there, and it's unfolded. Okay. Yeah, that stop was for 873. Okay, now let's go through again price action and order flow in here. Okay, we know this is a stop. Okay, we know that iceberg also got filled. What matters though is now we're getting into the nuances here. What matters though is, you know, getting some insight from these players in here. We know retail traders are getting stopped out. We know larger players are absorbing as much as they can, or at least 2000 here with their iceberg. But what matters after this action here is where does price go now? Okay, if we still get more buyers in here, we're likely going to go higher. If we get sellers down in this area here, we're likely going to go, it's going to be a mean reversion trade into a high volume node or other side of the range in here. So we can mark that up down here. Okay, so we look for sellers right in here. And then the first test would be for the sellers to hit into 41.25 again. Okay, and then if they can hit into that and still sell off, then we're looking for probably back down to about 22.5 or so. Let's see, guys, other questions in here. Good morning, David. Wanted to ask at 10 to 2, at 2 where icebergs, how would you tell if they're buyers or taking profit? We don't know that. Yeah, they could be taking profit. All we know is they're transacting. And we also know that they are sell icebergs. That's for sure. If you see the blue, kind of iceberg icon, if it's above price, these are their position is selling. Okay, these are like limit sell orders basically. I hope that answers the questions. Timothy, you're looking at correlations. Yeah, we can jump over and take a look at that. I just saw some good stuff in here with the icebergs and the stops, and we were looking for that scenario to unfold. And again, look how see how like you can kind of see what we drew up here, this little range in here of the stop run. And this is like a la Scott Pulcini basically. He'll mark these up and then come to Thursday's webinar on that if you want, and you can see that well, we accepted higher, and we were looking for potential for sellers to come in here and move it back down to the bottom of the range at 25. Okay, well, we came up to 30 instead, and we just traded to 30. Okay, and transacted up here, not a whole lot, but some, 129 at 30. So David, I hope that answers your question. The answer to what to do, how to react to it, is like we just know that what's going on here in terms of icebergs and stops. What we want to know is what happens after that event. Okay, so it's a volume event. And we want to understand, or after the transactions, what has the market done, right? And it accepted higher, and we found more buyers in here, and then we charged up to 30. Now we were talking about 30 back here, back at this point here. After this move to the downside and then buyers in here, yep, looking good, looking for our 25, and then we ran into this huge iceberg where we're looking for our stop run. We got the stop run, but then what happens after that? Okay, well, there was more buying pressure, right? They were completely absorbed before, but price went higher, so we found more buyers in here. Some of them are stops in some of these areas, but there's just more buyers. Now let's go through a few other order flow scenarios in here. Okay, so yeah, right now, well, they're on the offer up here from 29 to 30. Are we still getting buyers? Yeah, we're still getting some buyers. It's not a whole lot. You can see a little bit of a skew in the book here, and they're pulling here at 29. All right, so based off of this, we look for 30 to trade. Okay, a retest back to 30. Okay, now this is, again, is this high really telling us this? No, it's not. Okay, it's kind of set up for it, but it's not really, something of like, it's not obvious. I thought this was a lot more telling down here. For that move into 25 and potentially 27 and then 30. Okay, with a big pop and a big stop run. This is not really, look at it. Look, is that the kind of volume we want to see? The commitment of the traders. That's what we're reading here. How committed are they up here? That's not very committed, right? That doesn't really give me a warm feeling that this is going higher here. Okay. We read it though, that okay, well, the book showed a little bit more interest here on the bid and they're pulling on the offer. We just didn't find enough buyers. Okay, so again, filter your trading here. When not to trade is so important. is maybe more important than when to trade, because we all want to press the button. We all want to like feel the excitement. We all want to jump in. We all want to have the possibility to make lots of money. But if we know exactly what we're looking for, and we filter out a lot of the things that are not good, and we only look for the things that are good, now we have the potential to be profitable. Okay, this is something that is the development of a trading plan. You can see where I'm leading to on that. That is something to study. That is something to go back and understand that this is, I have a percentage around it. I know what this looks like. I've seen it, hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times, and then look for that higher probability move, and then you can start to wrap around that your risk management. Okay, so for example, in here, maybe you'd be getting in, and you look for a retest back up here. Maybe you take partial profit up here. Okay, this is a very small range scalp, but this is what I'm talking about here. No sellers down here, or very little. Okay, buyers come in on the other side, look for them to take it back up to the top of the range here, and you can hold and look for a higher move, 30 for example. So let's go through where might you have gotten in. Here, stop would be down here, your first take profit would be here, and your second one might be here, or maybe your second one is just a runner. You don't, maybe you even move it up, right? You're still bullish, and maybe you take that and you just say, okay, I'm just going to move it up to the next level of liquidity up here at 32. Okay, makes sense. Trying to keep it really simple. Okay, and maybe there's even more up here at 32. Okay, but now let's not start getting ahead of ourselves here. We're looking for the risk reward management here. Okay, well, here's your 1-to-1. You took some off already here, basically at this 29 level, and you can move your stop to break even now if you want. Okay, or you can move it to the overall break even would probably be down here somewhere around 26. Okay, and this one up here, well, we don't know, but let's look at a higher time frame then. Okay, so let's look here. Maybe up into could be a nice move up into 41. Maybe the point of control, or I'm sorry, the high volume node of this little section in here. Okay, if you're a volume profile trader, it's probably right around here. You guys tell me from the other day. This little section in here, 11:45 to like 12:30 or so. Where's the high volume node? Is it around 36? All right, well then let's look at 36. Well, we're not the only ones that it's at 35. We're not the only ones that had that idea then, right? Here's some other traders here. So maybe that's your target overall here. Okay. But you've mitigated the risk already. You've taken some off already. Okay, based off of the order flow in here, or in the limit order book here. Okay, and then you'd be holding. Okay, now this really, trade management is so important, and it's a very kind of is something you really need to be an expert at. We all have to mitigate the risk, and how you want to do that, and try to let profits run and try to cut losses early. Okay, here's a big iceberg. Okay, totally absorbing it so far. Not much though, only 36, but it's here right at 30. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Jack. Nice to have you in here. I'm going to be reaching out to you shortly, just to let you know. Congratulations on your win of the blue jacket. Really getting used to the drawing tools in Bookmap. Yeah, yeah. Just a few things in here. See, guys, like here's where your risk management is just so important. Like you look like a genius here if you got out at 30, right? And then you don't have to put up with this here. If you put your stop at break even here, you'd be stopped out, right? Now, if your other stop is down here, your overall, you'd make nothing on it or one tick if you get hit down here. Okay, so this is, it's really up to you. Like you can't be bummed out by this in here. You got to stick to your plan. And this is how you do it. So what is it that you are comfortable with? And I would suggest this. It's really up to you, but I would suggest this, that get some sort of risk reward here that makes good sense, so that you can take these again and again. And if you get stopped out on one, you won't be ruined if you just take one and one partial here, or one full winner here, basically, versus one stop out. You got to figure that out. And how many times do you have winners? How often does this happen for you? Because you get stopped out here a couple of times on full position, that's going to hurt. And then you got one winner. Does that make up for it? Probably not, right? That means that you got stopped out of 4, let's say, down here. That would be like what, 27 down to, like, so a point and a half would be 75 bucks for one contract, right? So 150 with 2. Okay, so 150 times 2, that's $300. Okay, now let's say you got one winner in here, though. All right, so let's say 27 and a half on up to let's just say it's 29, because it's not really 27 and a half. It's 20. It's a little lower than 27 and a half. So let's just say 27 and 29, 2 points. All right, so you got one winner. You're down 300 if you had 2 losses. You had one winner up here with 2 points, but it's just 2 points. It's $100. You have a trailer on that, right? So basically, your runner in here, let's say it came up to here to 30. All right, so you got full winner here, basically. And your full winner from 27 and a half on up to 30. So let's say that's let's see, it's 2.5 points. So that would be 100 plus another. I'm sorry, this was 1.5 points. That's 75, and this would be 125 up here, I think. Is that right? 2.5 points. It would be 137 or whatever. So 137 plus 75, so $200. So you're see what I mean? You just kind of figured it out here. Now I'm just shooting from the hip here. You had one winner, and let's say you had 2 losses here. Well, you're still down $100. Okay, so well, then maybe you don't want to do that. You know, maybe you'd rather have this one winner take care of two losses. Okay, how do you do that? Well, then it's maybe all in, all out. Okay, so maybe you don't take a partial, you just move it to break even immediately. And if you had your bigger winner, like in this example here, your winner would have been up here at 30. Okay, so you would have made from your 27.5 on up to 30 on two contracts. So that's 5 points, right, on two contracts altogether. So that would be your 250. Is that right? And then one loss would be your 27 down to, so 1.5 here on your one loss. Yeah, so that would be 75. That would be 150, right? So yeah, if you had two losses in here, one still doesn't make up for it, right? So I don't know, how do you want to deal with that? Maybe you go to break even earlier. Maybe you know, maybe you look for just a better trade opportunity to trade to 30 here. Maybe you just bypass it due to risk reward in here. As simple as that. Okay, you can see where I'm going though with this. This is something that we're here to read the order flow. Going through all of this trade management, etc., is something you've got to do, and it's oh so important. This is what you want to stick with and be very consistent with here. Let's see here. Being able to see the order flows is line. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure, Jack, what you're talking about here. Oh, MC Loco, good morning. Okay, what happened? You changed your Discord name. Good to see you back in here. All right, now look at this though, guys. This is really important here because look at this overall in here, and you'd still be kind of in this basically because, you know, it's an uptrend, for example. You know, why would you get out of an uptrend? You're with the trend. Your stop is down here, and you know you were looking for the potential breakout here of 30 on up into our 35 area, right? That's where maybe your last contract is up here. There's a different risk reward here, right? Now look at this in here. This is something Scott talks about. Does the market care about your orders? No, not at all. This has nothing to, you know, all of what we went through in here and making money and losing money on two trades compared to one winner, etc. Like this is, you know, this is the magic here you want on your side. But look at the order flow in here, or the price action. It's still bullish. It is still bullish here. This is just a sideways consolidation with a bullish slant to it. Here's why. Look at, these are all equal lows here, all of them. It's the same price level, okay, at this kind of 26.25 or so, somewhere around there. It's making slightly higher highs in here, oh so slightly, but it's still doing it, right? So there's still potential for the upside move here. Okay, that's what the price action is. What's the order flow within the price action? Well, we see buyers here, some sellers, you know, a lower high here, but not a lot of sellers here. Doesn't break the swing. Buyers in here does break the swing into 30, and then equal low here. Still seeing some buyers in here. There's exhaustion here, but do we get sellers here? No. So I'm still looking for buyers here in the order flow. Okay, see the separation here between order flow now and trade management. Okay, so we're still bullish in here. And here's our move. Right, now let's see it kind of unfold better than that. 417 just got stopped out. But looking for this move up into 32 or higher here. Okay, our 35 level. Right, so here again, is your trade management within the price action and order flow. This is combining these two together is where you're really going to get the magic, right? This is where you're going to build a higher probability trading plan. So I hope this is all making good sense here, guys. This is turning into a beautiful move up into just about 35 here. Not quite there yet, but looking for it still. Okay, Jack, I follow you now. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. There's our move, guys, 35, right? And, you know, look, you could still be bullish on this. It's not stopping, right? It's still going. I don't see sellers really coming in yet. Okay, now I do. Okay, if we get sellers below here, then I'd be looking for the move back down to about here, 31 3/4. Okay, so there you go. Now, you know, if you were still holding this, yeah, actually you can still make a bullish case for it. Actually, you'd be looking for sellers down here around 33 1/4 or you know, 33 basically. If you got a lot of selling in here, that's where you'd exit. You could still be holding this though. Okay, see what I mean? But you have to give up something to do that. Okay, you'd have to give, you wouldn't take your profit here at 35. You'd still be in it, right? But you would have to take your profit here when it came down to this kind of 33 area here, and you saw sellers here, not exhaustion. You saw sellers here, right? And you're not going to get those extra 2 points. You're going to have to give them up. PG contract, that ICE at 41.30 says 36 have traded, yet 276 net traded at the ask. So yeah, let's go into that. This is a good question. See what I mean, guys? Like you could, you know, it's still kind of pulling higher here so far. We got to get more buyers again for this to trend upwards. Let's take a step back. Excuse me. Let's take a step back here and then look at this bigger picture here, right? So yeah, here's we talked about this, like a potential like high volume node around 36 or so. That's where we are. If there's still more buying pressure, I'm looking for these wicks up in here. So I'm looking for 42-ish, something like that. Oh, okay. So I guess yeah. I know you were. I want to cover it in hindsight though. At the 41.30 and the ICE in here, it's filtered out at the moment because it didn't make my I know there's ICE in here. It's just not showing on the chart because of my filter. Let's undo the filter though, and we'll look at all of them in here. Okay, so your 36 ICE here. Yeah, I know it's done, but this is kind of what happened here. One was executed here fully, or it looks like even maybe two are executed in here fully for 57, and then there was still someone else in here, another execution here with 20. That's what happened here. Okay, so you know, it looks like 77 altogether here for 3 different icebergs at the same price level. Right, and then it started to execute again here a little bit higher, around 30 3/4. Okay, now when I zoom out, they all kind of aggregate together, and it says 88 now. It's just because, you know, they're on different. There's 5 different icebergs in here. Okay, but it kind of aggregated them together just so it's easier for you to read on the chart. Here's 9 icebergs up here. I hope that answers your question about some of the ice in here and what's going on. And if you want to compare that though to what traded here, you know, you can see 480 contracts. Now just these contracts right in here, only here, we see 480. Okay, now if I zoom out more, there's going to be more, of course. So I got to put that within my chart range to fully understand the iceberg up here, or what transacted here at 30. Okay, so yeah, here we go. So actually we have we can split it out as well. Let's just split out the data here. Okay. So the total volume here was you know, 1051, all right, at this 30 level, and these are the aggressors here. Not it's all the aggressive buying was 1051 at this price level. Okay, now the icebergs, you know, we can look at here, and well, it was around 3. Well, we see 88 here, so not many were icebergs here. Okay, at this price level. Now we the 461 up here. Oh, that's a stop run. No, yeah. So that's what actually happened there. So not a whole lot up there. Okay, but you're talking about price range from 41.26 to 30. Yeah, that, you know, is a little more complex to kind of calculate there. I don't know. I'm hoping I'm answering your question there. It's a little. I know it's kind of difficult to answer in text here, but anyway. All right. So you can see you look like a genius if you held, and you know, still in it here, right? Again, guys, like, you know, set up like your risk reward in here, and this is something you're going to have to go back and really dig into the details for yourself, and only you can do it. And that's why we're covering order flow in here, because there's so many different ways to trade. We're just the tool in here. We're like the wood carving or woodworking tools, or, you know, we're the Formula One race car. We're not the driver. You're the driver. There's many different ways a different driver will race that same car, right? That's the point. One, you know, chisel or saw or whatever it is for woodworking, many different artists will create very different things from that tool. And we're here to go through as many different kind of tools and kind of just give you a background, an array of different ways of looking at this, so that you'll find something that works for you. And not only here in this webinar is the foundation here. Thanks. I don't know if I call you a McLoco now or a Stonk Poppy, but whatever you like. Not only are we going over, I want the way we have our education set up with these webinars here is a foundation of order flow that covers everything here. Then come to our Discord channel. Right after my webinar, we have Tom B with stocks in here. I'm sorry, with volume profile right here, the Traders Lab, Tom B. Come to this one. Right after that, we have options with Doug. Come to that one. He's going to go over options and stocks and also stock indexes. Right after that one, we have the algo boys in here. They're going to go through their proprietary ways of looking at the markets. So we're offering all this for you. In the morning, we have Rain with cryptocurrencies. So we have multiple streamers in here going through a lot of different ways of trading. And what this one here is to train everybody on order flow. Okay, and that's our goal, right? We can look at candlestick patterns in here if you guys want, and we'll go through how to integrate that. We'll go through a volume profile. We'll go through patterns in here. Okay, the funny thing here is, and this is just something it's just so important to understand, is that the price pattern, the candlestick pattern, the volume profile pattern are all made up of order flow. So understand order flow, and you can apply it to anything, and it will free you up to be able to do whatever it is you want. Okay, I've covered it for years in here that if we look at these candlesticks in here, this is order flow, or this is price action, but the order flow in it is what makes it up. This is what we want to understand. Understand, like, we can't really see it in here because even the volume is separated out down below in the subchart here. So we don't know where the volume transacted in here. Well, that makes a big difference. Really big difference. And how much traded, that we have, like, one line compared to the next, but everything is separate here. This is so antiquated. This is based off of the way that people would hand draw before computers even existed. Their bar charts, open, high, low, and close for the day, and put how much volume traded. It's still based off of that. That's crazy. And what kind of transparency does that offer you in here into what's really going on? Not much. Not much at all. So here is where the transparency is. Look at, not only like do we see the transactions and the other side of the transaction with the buyers and sellers and with their limit orders, but we also see icebergs, very specific orders. We see stop runs or stops. Okay, who uses a stop? Well, that's a retail trader behavior, is to they're going to be using stops because we don't have larger accounts to withstand a big drawdown. So we get stopped out, we look for the next one. Okay, and hopefully we have studied something where we know we have an edge. Therefore, if we take the next one, it has a higher probability of being a winner. Okay, and then that will offset the loss. See, look at this in here, buyers coming in, right? Okay, yeah, well, likely it's coming up to 40, but however, I do not think this is a high probability opportunity in here. Okay, the read is that we still see buyers coming in. I don't see anything in the order book though, right? So watch this. If we get sellers here around 36.5, watch these sellers bring it right back down to, well, 35.5, maybe 34. Okay, because there's no orders underneath here supporting it. Okay, so sellers can move it pretty quickly down here. So maybe you bought in here and you're like, yeah, it's looking great, it's looking great, I'm looking for 40, and now you're on your back foot and you're going to get stopped out. Okay, so wait until you see something really good and then go with that flow. Yeah, see here, this is that behavior I'm talking about. See how the sellers come in? Okay, now watch this. That's leg one, a pullback. Now what if we get a little more selling here? Okay, we're bullish here. We're still bullish in here. I want to cover this like pullback though, and how, like, because there's not a whole lot of liquidity underneath supporting this right now, that the sellers can move it back down into these areas pretty easily. Okay, so let's look at this up here. Okay, buyers, that's good at the same price level. That's not bad. 37.5, not bad. But did they break it here? No. Okay, they just traded up here to 37.5. Now that's good though in that sense, and you can kind of see the P-shaped profile here. Okay, look at this though here. Do we see buyers here again? No. All right, so I'm actually looking for sellers in here, and then for them to drop it back down to maybe the mid of the range, like right here, 35. See that? This is the behavior here, exhaustion. Okay, and then we don't really see too many sellers in here, just a bit here. All right, here is looking a little bit better here. They came back up here again, but we didn't find many buyers. Okay, so let's see now. This would be a range break here. Actually, it would be, this is your range, and we'd be looking for it to trade back down to here, and your range break would be back down to here. Okay, so there's some exhaustion. All right, so we're looking for sellers right here around 36 or 35 and 3/4. And this is a counter trend trade here in the bigger picture. Okay, so yeah, getting some. Okay, what about the order book? Well, buyers can snap it right back up here, so I don't like it. Let it pass. Look for something better. We're still going to cover it. We're still seeing some sellers here, so likely 34. Okay, almost made it to 34.25. So anyway, you know, we look, it kind of did what we thought, but it just didn't look all of that probable. Okay, this was pretty nice exhaustion here after retesting back up here, but it tested the same level, so it's like, nah, not really. If we get some selling in here, we'll likely get the move back down to the bottom of this range here. Okay, so again, this is I don't know, maybe you saw it on a smaller time frame and it looked really good. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll scalp it for like a point, or a point and a half or so. Well, then that would have been a good trade if that's what you do. You know the risk. You know the order book wasn't really supporting you on the offer. So buyers could have come and whipped it right back up into here. Okay, let's look at this. A little bit of support here in the book. Do we get buyers? A little bit. Yeah, let's zoom in. Let's look at kind of microstructure stuff in here. This is always a good exercise. All right, there's a little bit of support in here at 35 and then 34 and a quarter. Yeah, still finding sellers though. They're interested actually in 35, so they traded into it. So I actually am finding some selling pressure, looking for them to trade into 34 now and a quarter and maybe 33 and 3/4. Now see them add a little bit more in here. Let's just kind of change the heat map settings a bit. Yeah, try to get an understanding here. Boy, guys, it's right in the middle of this volume. There we go. All right, so let's see. Now look at the volume in here. See this whole range? I mean, there are buyers down here where it didn't really transact much down here. So this is a discount down here. Guys, any questions over in YouTube? It's been kind of quiet. Yeah, sellers are still in here, so it looks like they want to transact into this level here, looking for them. And you're going to find buyers down here that at the bottom of this little area in here, they're going to be buying the rejection of this area here. You're welcome, Scott. Just observing. Yeah, welcome to the webinar. All right, now look at this in here. See how they're kind of bidding up a little bit more here? Question is, what's the reaction? Do we find buyers here? No, not yet. What about now? A little bit. There they go. Okay. And look at the book. See the book underneath here? Okay. Not bad. All right, let's see them trade back up to the top of the range here at 36 or 36 and a half. Can they do that? A little bit of volatility. They're still in the book though here. All right, we're finding sellers though. Okay, this is where it's going to get really interesting. All right, so now let's see here. Let's watch this dynamic right in here. Okay, there are buyers here. Let's look for some transactions. And what if we get our buyers up here at 34 and a half? Then I'm looking for them to take it right back up to here to 35 and a half. 1 point. All right, we're looking at small time frames in here right now. But guys, this is no different than higher time frames, really. There it is. Okay, so looking for our buyers in here now. Let's see if they can do it. See, we had exhaustion and then buyers here. Okay, so here we are. They're auctioning here again on the offer. Let's see if they move it up to 35 and a half. Here's a little bit more on the bid, and there we go. There we go. Okay, so we're just looking for that, and we got it. Okay, now again, this isn't really it's just understanding the order flow here, that's it. Like, you know, we're not even going to talk about trade management on this. If you want to scalp, there's a lot of different ways to do it as well, you know, you'd be cutting your losses really quickly on some of the scalps potentially. Okay, and look where we traded here to this liquidity up here, 36 and a half. We talked about that, or this swing up here earlier. And let's zoom in. Let's go through the you know, this is always a good example to go, because we can really go through it in detail in here. We have to be quick though. Okay, are we getting buyers up here again? Yep. All right, auction up into 38, 39, 38 and a half. Let's see, up into this area here in liquidity. And this also demonstrates here what we look at on all time frames. Again, look at the buyers. Okay, they created a new level, right? New trading level outside of this range here. Okay, did it accept? So far so good. And they're still auctioning up here. See how we saw that it was still auctioning up here. That's the key. It's still auctioning up here. It's likely going to go explore higher because it's still trading up here, right? That's when we look for it to continue higher. Okay, there's some trading up here. It did make a higher high. Look at the structure as well, or the price action. Okay, look at them underneath here, right? Okay, well, let's see them fill into 40 now. See how they're underneath here, like trying to now this is how larger players can get filled in here. Watch this. You know, this is where you get other traders in here that they'll take their profits up in here before this high liquidity here. All right, that's why a lot of times we'll come up here and they just don't want to tangle with this liquidity up here. That's why they're skewing the order book underneath to try to get it up in here so they can get their fill. All right, here another rotation. Like these guys want to get filled, right? So let's see them skew the order book again underneath here, and let's see if we get our buyers. And if we do, 40 should be the target. See, nothing really in the order book in here. Now it's starting to show a little bit of action down here. They're coming in on the offer now as well. Okay, well, what about down here? Maybe we'll get, see how they're kind of down in, this is where the high volume node is down here, a little bit in front of it, 37, where they broke out here on the bid. Okay, so maybe that's what, if this is a small, you know, low time frame trade, maybe you'd be scooping it up down here. Okay, now look for buyers to come in here. It can auction here. Yeah, a little bit. Now look, this is not a trade recommendation. This doesn't even look very good to me, but the concept is this. They came down to here. We're looking for buyers here, and we'd be looking for a move back up into maybe where it can trade up here, previously traded up in here, right? So maybe 38 and a half, but ultimately 40. Okay, well, it would drop lower here. Still on the bid here, supporting it. All right, let's see some buyers in here. Let's see them move back up to top of the range here, around 38. But you know, it's still the high liquidity is up here. All right, let's see buyers right here, 37 and a quarter. Yep. All right, let's see if they can lift it now. Nope. Still trying. Nope. Exhaustion here at 37 and a half. And not much going on. No, a little more selling here. 36. Okay. All right. Let's see again. They're on the bid here at 36. You can see some of that liquidity in here. 189. Okay. This looks good. All right. Let's get some buyers here at 37. There they are. A little bit. That's not enough. We need more than that. That's exhausting out. Just not finding buyers. Okay, let's see if we get up here though. I'm really curious. I think we're going to get some buyers here at 37. And then we should get, if we get buyers here at 37, you know, like a big dot, green dot, 38 is the next area. Okay, because of the liquidity up in here. Okay, and then we can get maybe up to 40 or 39 and a half. Oh, thanks, Vibe. Just saw your video the other day of the other market on side in the boxes. Oh yeah. I need to show that. You know what? I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek, and I'll go over it more tomorrow. I'm kind of waiting to see if like we get our buyers in here just to get up to 38, because this is a good area. We've got some volume here to lean against. We've also got some orders here to lean against at 36. So I'm looking for buyers in here, and I'm looking for them to move it back up to liquidity here at 38 and then potentially 40. And I'm looking for that to unfold, that scenario to unfold. Now this is like really very low time frame stuff, but that's what we're looking for here, right? We have our reasons for it. Liquidity 36, volume here, that's actually at 36 and a quarter, but the high volume node down here bouncing off of that. Okay, for buyers to come back in and try to move it higher here, that's what we're looking for, right? And look at that, it's pretty paltry here. That's not the kind of buying we're looking for here, right? So yeah, I'd probably give up on this trade and like just scratch it. If I see more buyers up in here again, like the kind of dots I'm looking for, then I could enter again and look for it to move immediately. If it doesn't, I'd just, you know, scratch it again. Yeah, here we go. All right, here are buyers. Now they should be able to move it. They're up at 38. I'm still looking for higher though. Okay, retest back down here. Finding some buyers. Now they got to move it though. Just can't buy right here at 37 and a quarter. We got to get a little higher, right? And that top edge idea, or like, I'm sorry, that weak top idea is the same concept right here in this very small time frame. Do we get buyers here? No, we didn't. Actually, we got a weak bottom here. See the weak bottom here? See how we got selling down here and then they were able to move it, right? So what we wanted in the scenario was we wanted to see buyers up in here for them to move it. We didn't get it. We got the opposite. Okay, now we're back down to the same level here as before. And we're looking for buyers to still support it here. And just finding some sellers in here. Yeah, it does seem to want to rotate lower here. The concept's still the same though, and look at the volume in here. It's still kind of a high volume node, so it just went a couple ticks lower. Again, I'm looking here. Here we go, 36 and a half. Let's see, 36 and a half again. I want to see a weak top. Okay, I want to see transactions up here. Nothing. Okay, selling, just driving it lower here. Okay, let's see now. Here we go. All right, so now can it continue to buy here? Continue to buy. Yeah, I think they can move it up to 36 and a quarter. Here's some buying, right? That's what we're looking for, a little bit more. And here they're pulling at 36 and a quarter. That's good. Are they adding on the bid? A little bit. So let's see the buyers moving on up here. Okay, and 36 and a quarter would be a good, you know, starting point here to ease out of the trade. And this is, boy, I'm kind of fighting a trend here. This is obviously in a downtrend, but we're looking at very small time frame stuff in here. Hey, buyers, some, yeah, yeah. All right, now let's see you move it though. Now they got to move it. They can't just buy into it. They got to move it. These guys here, if they can't move it, like they're going to be sellers down here. All right, so now it auctioned back up here again. Not bad. Okay, I got to see a bigger dot now here, and we should get a nice move back up into 37. And it's not much, it's a 1.5, right, guys? But it's the concept here. Okay, once you understand the concept, then you can apply that. So you see where this is why we look at the higher time frame. You can apply that to higher time frame. This is like the support area down in here. Okay, it's actually a higher time frame support down here, 34. We were looking for that support here, and it did go up to 38, right? It did do that. Here it is. Here's the proof right in front of us. That's why we were leaning against this earlier in here, 36, right? We knew they're on the bid, and there was volume trading here, and now we're looking for the buyers up in this area here, and for them to move it up into our 38. Okay, we got 38, and that was it. It hit that liquidity up here at 38, right here. Okay, and now it's selling off again, or it sold off back down lower. All right, yeah, I'm with you, Captain Price. It does have a feel here, like sellers again here at the low, looking for them to trade down to 34. But see what we're going through in here. Remember, okay, we were looking at this in here is really zoomed in right here. I'll just leave with this concept, then we got to go because Tom B takes over, I gotta hold on to only an hour and a half or a little bit less, so that everybody has their shot in here, and not to encroach into other guys' periods here. Anyway, this concept is this here, right? This 36 in here as being support, and looking at a high volume node, and then looking for buyers in here, and then we did get the move to 38, is no different than this in here, right? We're looking at support down here on a higher time frame at 34 and below. Okay, and we'd be leaning on this. Now look at this though, it's a little different in here. They're on the bid down here. Okay, this is a low volume node though, so is it come down here and auction into this area and fill it in, right? Well, if that's the case, we're looking for sellers at the bottom edge here. We're looking at our P-shaped profile, and we're looking for sellers in here, maybe on the offer to push it into this area down here, and these guys to maybe start pulling on the offer here. And here we go. Let's see if they can do it now. Okay, so looking for our kind of auction off, and it's a different concept, is the same. We're leaning against the bid in here, but there is no volume in here. This is a low volume nodes. So what we're looking for is for it to auction in here and see if it accepts in here or not. So that's a bit different. Whereas here we're looking at liquidity in here, and for it to bounce off the high volume node. Guys, if you like this, please hit the like button, and really helps us here. The more likes we have, the more we can do this kind of education for you. Okay? And you know, we can also, you know, please put in some subjects in here that you'd like me to go over in the order flow. Happy to do it. In fact, many of you like reach out to me or support and you know, request well, how does this work, or you know, request something, and you know, we'll do it right here in the live market, because if you have that question, it's likely others are going to have that question too. All right, so anyway, guys, good stuff in here. We went through, didn't have time to show you the correlation with the new algo in here. I'm going to go through it tomorrow with you guys in more detail. Okay, it's the price change, not the volume pressure, but the price change. Thanks for coming, everybody, and hit the like button, and we will there is no time frame in here, Miguel. We just keep zooming in and out. You can see it in the vertical dotted line. 15 minutes in here. If I zoom in, though, it changes to now 5 minutes, right? So anyway, thanks, guys, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. Tom B is next.